Bonjour, everyone. Hi. This is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Communications from Home. It's a special live stream show today, and I'm a little out of breath. Wouldn't you know it? Get a telephone call, and Paul's new lawnmower is being delivered in 30 minutes. And I had to run up and open up the garage door and get things ready for them. Hot. So I was kind of running around. And so to get down here in time, that's life though, right? Life in the fast lane when you're live streaming. So welcome everybody. Bonjour. That is Potawatomi for hello. And so I want to welcome everybody to be with me on this live stream. I appreciate it. And you know what? It's publishing day here at Star Nations. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a happy day. I love publishing day because we just published the June issue of Star Nations magazine this morning just for you. And I'm hoping you guys are going to like it because it is so good. And I know I'm partial. I say that every month, right? But I am partial. And I wanted to show you the cover. Hey, Marie, good to have you here. You know what? Before I get rolling on stuff, because I knew I'd forget, I have to send this live stream over to my news feed. I almost forgot to do that. So we're going to do that right now. And I'm just going to ask my friends to please join me. And there we go. Going to post that. You know, I would invite you to share it too. Okay. And the reason being is because, you know, our magazine has so much information. And if you're a spiritual seeker, there's always something in there for us, right? And so I am going to also send it over to the groups and remind the peeps that I'm live streaming and to join us. There we go. And let's see, we're going to do it to the Academy and to the live stream shows and to the magazine groups. There we go. Doesn't take long. And, whoops, went too far out. There we go. And I also have to send it. No, you know what? I think I'm going to wait on that. There we go. Thanks for waiting. Hey, Marie's in the house. Yeah, we already said hi. Happy Wednesday to you too, Marie. And Jocelyn's here too. Welcome, Jocelyn. Always good. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. I really do appreciate that. I do. So I don't know about you, but I'm warm. All that running around. Paul had to order a new lawnmower, and we shop. You know, and he's part of the military still. He's retired. And so we get such a good deal on stuff. And so he got such a deal on a new lawnmower and it's being delivered today. And so they called and said they would be here in about 30 minutes. And I'm going, just put it in the garage. So then I had to run up and take care of all of that. So the garage door is open for them. I don't know. It's just life in the fast lane, right? All right. So here we go. The magazine. I have to tell you that this June issue for this year is really, how do I want to say this? It was so smooth. It really was. It was so smooth. And our layout specialists at Elm, I call them the elves, they were getting things done like that. You know, the next thing I knew, the PDF was ready. And Paul and I needed to sit down and edit it. And I had to send it out to a couple other people to look at it. And even they got their stuff done really quickly. And it was so smooth. There was like no effort. It was effortless and so much fun. I was teasing and I said we should have called this the 3 F's magazine issue because we got fairies, Father's Day, and forgiveness. And so we're going to get into that just a little bit in just a second. But I want to show you is the cover. And this is kind of a special cover, actually. And the reason being is the picture itself. I was looking for something about fairy gardening and fairies, right? Those interdimensional beings, right? And so I'm going to give this a solo so you can really see it. Let's see. Here we go. So this is the cover image for the June issue. And the photographer, excuse me, the photographer is my brother-in-law, Dan McCormick, and he is a professional photographer. And they live out in Washington State. And I had forgotten that he has taken many, many pictures of humans dressed as fairies. And so they sent me over, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 different images. And we picked 2 for the magazine. This one I really, really liked and wanted it to be on the cover. Because to me, it's she really brings into focus a different version of a fairy, right? So larger, right? Human size fairy. And take a look at her crown. Do you see her crown just above the word fairy? Now these aren't props. These are actual people's clothes. And they have somebody come in to do the body art, right? So it's yeah, I just thought, oh my gosh, and it feels so Celtic, doesn't it? Feels so Celtic. So this is Dan, and Dan is also our website master. He's the one who works on our website for us, and he's a part of the Owls. Yeah, I would like to get him to take some other pictures for us too. But that's the cover. And it was so much fun working on it. It really was. This image really does, hands down, much better than the images that I had selected previously. Now I still like those images, and I think 2 of them are still in the magazine. But this particular one, as soon as I saw it, it literally reached out and grabbed me. It really did. And it's like, oh, this is the one. I even showed Paul, and he said, yeah, I agree. That's it. That's it. Hey, Maggie's here. Hello, Maggie. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Looks like Lisa's in the house too. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this cover was really something. That to work with those images and to have a professional photographer available to us is really a much different experience than working with, and I find most of our cover images in dreamstime.com, and we purchase the right to use the magazine image, right? And so it's yeah, I just love it. I love it. And here's Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Good to have you here. All right. So that is the June cover. Yeah. And so just to remind you is that the Star Nations magazine is available in several different versions. We really tried to capture how you guys really like to read your reading material. Okay. And your reading material is kind of how you like to take it is really across the entire board. We have it in digital for mobile devices. That means your phone or your tablet. We also have it print on demand because some people still like to hold it in their hands and read. Okay, so we have that version. We also have the PDF version, which means that you can read it on any device, including your desktop and your laptop. And also for those people who have some vision issues, on the PDF one, you can actually print out as well. So it's not like you're going to print out all 48 pages, right? But let's say that you really want to read the featured article and you want to take your time, and it's easier on your eyes if you print it out, you can do that with our partners at issue.com. Okay. And the other way that you can get this is what called Web Viewer. For those people who really don't want to download it onto their hard drive, they can purchase it, and it's kept in the cloud for that. And that's through our partners at MagCloud. And so we'll get those links up for you guys near the end. Okay. But so that is the cover. That's the cover. I love it. All right. And we had 2 featured articles in this magazine, in this issue this month. And the difference between a featured article and a standard article, okay, is the number of words, number one. It's much longer. It's about a third to a half longer. The word count on a featured article is 1,500 words, okay? And the standard article, the every month article, that's 900 to 1,200 words, right? And we do that for a reason. The articles are short enough so that really busy people, it's easy for them to read it in one go, right? It's easy to be able to read a third of it or half of it and then come back and read the other half. It's easy to deal with. It's not like you're reading a 5-page or 6-page article, right? Yep. And the featured articles, they're just bigger. Their energy is even bigger. So much so. Let me show you the one that came up this month, okay? We'll take this one down, and we'll bring up the first featured article. The first featured article is by Madonna De Paulo, and it's called An Ocean Invitation. I contacted her months and months and months ago. I want to say December, January, and asked her if she'd be interested in, or would she be available to write a featured article for us. Now, Madonna is part of the Star Nations family. She is one of our published authors. She wrote The Sound Weavers. It's a children's book, and it's about cetaceans, whales, and dolphins, okay? And I knew that I wanted to have an article in this year's issues about the sea or about the ocean. And we chose June because there's some special days across the globe about the ocean in June. And so Madonna said, yes, I will do that. When do you need it by? And so I gave her all that information. And she submitted this article. And it kind of took me a little bit by surprise because I was thinking she was going to do an educational piece about whales and dolphins and or about the ocean itself, because the ocean's big, right? And the topic about oceans is even huge. There's so many different ways that you could write about the ocean. And what she did is she took an experience, her very first experience with the ocean, and led us in a story about her relationship with the ocean and how the ocean can be so healing in so many different ways. And so she gave us her first huge healing experience that the ocean offered to her, right? And it touches your heart. It really does, because I think it speaks to all of us at some point in our life. She was talking about how her first memory of going to the ocean was with her grandparents, and how much joy it brought her, right? And as an adult, looking back on that experience was the measurement of joy in being that child at the ocean. And then she took us forward in time, and how she lost that part of her, right? And the everyday kind of living, and realizing that she was wearing a mask and pushing down her emotions, right? And she took a journey, a real life journey. She took a road trip, and she went to the ocean, and she tells us about that. and likens it to how the whales can actually go into shallow waters. For them, it's still pretty deep for us, but for a whale, they can go into shallow waters. They can't stay there very long, but they can go into shallow waters. And then what they have to do is turn around and go and dive deep again, right? And so she uses that as a metaphor that we can tap into the healing waters of the ocean. And we weren't meant to stay in the shallows either. That in order to really learn about ourselves and do our deep healing, we have to dive deep. And I tell you what, the first time I read it through, oh my gosh, get the Kleenex box out. Because it really touches you in a way that it's like, oh my gosh, she could have been writing about me. Right. So an ocean invitation by Madonna De Palo. It's so good. It's so good. She is such a good storyteller and sharing with us her experience, her journey with it, right? Maggie saying, please send energy for our plumbing issue. We have Lake Wade inside the house. Oh my goodness. With all that rain yesterday, huh? Did your basement flood? There's lots of people that I was hearing about today. Torrential rains. Our person who helps me here at home, our house cleaner, was telling us that their basement flooded too. Yeah. Oh yes. Good energy going toward Maggie, and that they can get the water out of the house gracefully, easily, and quick. Right? And the cleanup, right? The cleanup can get done really. Broken Maine. Oh, yikes. Okay. That's a lot of emotion. That's an ocean of emotion. That's what Madonna would say. My goodness. That's symbolic. Right? So you have to really kind of take a look at what's going on in your physical life then too. Oh my goodness. So good energy going to Maggie. Yeah. Hey Clara, good to have you here. Karen says an ocean invitation sounds like a beautiful read. It is. Now, Karen, since I'm the executive editor, these titles, right? But I get to read all of the articles, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 or 5 times. That's why we have so many people at the end when everything is pretty much done, to go over and read it. Somebody with fresh eyes, because I've been looking at it so long that I don't see any mistakes anymore, right? And every single person who's read this article has said, "Holy smokes, this is touches you in such a way that you kind of sit back and you think about your own life and how you have pushed your emotions down and put the mask on, right? And how we can take the mask off and how we can heal all of that, deeply heal. And now is the time, as they say. Now is the time. So I want to send out a thank you to Madonna for writing the feature article and sharing such a beautiful story with us, her story with us. Yeah, it's good stuff. Madonna. All right. And even with working, because Madonna's in Baltimore, she's in Maryland, and even working with Madonna, she's so easy to work with and so much fun to work with. And we hadn't really touched base in quite a while, a few months, really. And so it was good to be able to sit down and chat with her and get the business stuff out of the way, but also to touch base and chat with her. All right. So the next one I want to share with you is Maureen's article. Yeah. Maureen Mann. She's a contributing writer every month, and she has a live stream show called Angel Therapy, which is coming up tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Angel Therapy, what she did this month was she kind of wrote off topic. And sometimes that happens because all of our writers, what they do is they tap into their spiritual team, right? And they discuss. I think a lawnmower has arrived. They discuss with their spiritual team the topics that are up for that month's issue, right? And many of the articles are channeled writing. Many of them are, or portions of them are channeled, and sometimes the entire article is channeled. Okay, and so this month for oh my goodness, you're gonna have to excuse me just a moment, okay? All right. Hello. Thank you. You too. Paul's new lawnmower arrived. I had to sign for it. That's one of the reasons why I had to do the show here today. Okay, back to Maureen's article. So, Maureen's article this month in Angel Therapy, Changing World Healing Meditation. Changing World Healing Meditation. And this is a channeled piece. She was in meditation about this article, okay? And I think it was also about her show topic. And what she did is that she received a full meditation from the angels, from her angelic guides. And she shares that with us. But she shares it in writing, okay? So if you wanted to, what you could do is record it for yourself, right? Or have somebody else read it to you from the magazine. But she also shares with you the link to her Etsy shop, where if you wanted to, you could purchase it and download it, okay? And when you read the actual meditation itself, it's such deep healing, and it's for yourself, but it's actually is going to affect the entire world. So it's no small thing that you do by doing this meditation. And the way that she shared it from her angelic guides, you can feel the love coming from them. And knowing that how far our reach is through Star Nations, there's so many souls that are going to be able to use this meditation for such good stuff. Really, really high vibrational healing. Because we're global, right? I just looked at the map earlier today because I was publishing, right? And how far the reach is. Of course, United States, and of course, Canada and Mexico, yes. But we also have Great Britain, Ireland, China, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Taiwan, Italy. I'm trying to think of the Scandinavian countries, Finland, Norway, Sweden. It's we have a pretty large reach. And so for this to be able to go out to that many souls and all over the world, for me, this is how we walk the red road, the good red road that comes from Native America, right? I know. All right. So Maggie's saying, I need the digital link. Yes, we're going to get that out to you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to think how we're going to do this month. The person who helps me, Deborah, She had to go in and help out at her old job. I didn't know if you guys knew that she's a therapeutic massage therapist. Yeah. And she's retired. But her old boss contacted her to come in. They need her 2 days this month to help out. And so she went down to meet with some of her old clients. And so, Maggie, you're going to get your link tomorrow in the email, okay? Because she couldn't do it today, couldn't do it this afternoon, but she'll get to it tomorrow, and you'll have it tomorrow, okay? All right, good though. Thank you for saying that. And Marie says, "Can't wait." I know, I know. Um, and so those links will be sent out in the email tomorrow. She's going to try to get to it right away in the morning, so you guys should have it before noon, I would think. All right. So what else do we need to let you know about Maureen? Oh, okay. So what the angels were saying is that this unique meditation will bring your hearts, minds, and bodies back into balance and provide you with healing messages. By changing ourselves, we can change our world. By changing ourselves, we can change our world. How sweet is that? Yeah. And Maureen hasn't been feeling well. She was actually sick for a while. She's better. She's much better. I contacted her today, and she is feeling much better and ready for her show tomorrow. And so I think she's going to actually be telling you a little bit more about this in her show tomorrow. So you'll have to tune in for that. All right. That's Maureen's. And the forgiveness piece. The forgiveness piece. So this I hardly ever do this, you guys. I hardly ever put my editorial or my pieces on the cover or talk about them like this, right? Usually it's always showcasing the other contributing writers, right? But this month, what my guides gave me and the topics to write about, because I thought I was going to do something on the solstice, right? No, not this year. Not this June. They wanted me to write a piece about forgiveness. And so that's what I did. And so the title of it, Forgiveness is Big Medicine, right? Forgiveness is big medicine. And the forgiveness piece is both about forgiving others, but mostly about forgiving yourself. The act of forgiveness, right? And so what I wrote about was that there's life lessons attached to that forgiveness, right? And in that life lesson, that event that occurred, that there's forgiveness that is the actual goal, the actual goal. And yeah, there's other things usually tucked in around it as well, but it is the act of forgiveness, and to forgive from your heart wholeheartedly doesn't mean that you forget what occurred, right? You don't necessarily forget about the circumstances, not necessarily, but when you forgive from a full heart, that eventually you won't even remember much of that situation, right? Because in that full forgiveness, what occurs is that it literally is doesn't reside in your Akashic records. You don't have to carry it around with you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. That in that forgiveness is that healing, that deep healing, right? And that we can do that from the holiest place in the world, and we all carry it with us, and that's the tiny space of our hearts, right? That's in that unified field that is outside of duality. And that's why when we can forgive from that place, That's why it's in its wholeness. And so that's what they wanted me to write about for this one. And that perhaps forgiveness is meant for a vehicle of growth, right? We can actually consider that our vehicle for soul growth, forgiveness. And how do we heal enough around our emotional and mental traumas so that we can actually be in our hearts, right? And that forgiveness happens from when you do it from your tiny space of your heart. That forgiveness is instantaneous. Yes, like snap the fingers and it's done. And it's so complete that even your relationship with the other person or people will begin to shift, and the next time you even see them or have any contact with them, it feels completely different. Completely different. And I can attest to that. That happened on Sunday to me. Yeah. It was like real life stuff. Yeah, and I also include some information in this article about the medicine wheel and about forgiveness. Yeah. Yeah, and you guys, I've been listening to Clarissa Pinkola Estes, right? And I'm going to give it a solo here, see if we can get it big enough. The quote from her: "How does one know if she has forgiven? You tend to feel sorrow over the circumstance instead of rage. You tend to feel sorry for the person rather than angry with him. You tend to have nothing left to say about it at all." So, in the forgiveness, many of the triggers, if not all the triggers, are no longer there. Yeah. So that is something that my guides wanted to, the message that they wanted to get across, right? And the pictures for this one, it's really kind of cool. I mean, this particular picture, this one comes, I think, from Pixabay, if I remember right. And most people, they think that we have to be in this this deep meditative state, right? Which you can be, but in order to be in your hearts, you don't necessarily have to be in that deep meditative state. You just have to be able to remember how to be in your heart. Yeah, it's good stuff. Forgiveness is big medicine. And I also include a YouTube video in this one for you, and it's a young woman who is reading an excerpt about rage and forgiveness out of one of Clarissa's books. I think it was running woman running with wolves. I think that's the one. Yeah, so it's pretty good. I really liked writing this one too. It again, it was so smooth, so quickly. I sat down, did my outline. After I connected with my guides in meditation, I sat down and I always do a rough outline, right? Where are we going? Where are we starting from? Where are we going to end up? And when I did that, I just wrote the article. I was done with this article probably in the rough form within an hour. Within an hour. Now, there is still some polishing up and making sure all the sentences are complete, that kind of thing, and able to send it off to my editor, Sharon, for editing, within 2 hours. And that is the quickest I've ever written an article. Usually it takes me a few days. Usually, let's see. And the next one, I think you guys are going to like this one. I have to bring it up, and it's going to take me just a second. And let's see. There it is. I thought, where'd it go? We're going to bring Leslie Serenesi's up, and we're also going to bring Fortunes and Minis because it's, oh my gosh, wait till you see Minnie's article. Okay, so this next one is by Leslie Serenisi and Serenisi. Sorry, going to pronounce her name correctly. Leslie Serenisi. She is one of our contributing writers who's been with us for, oh my gosh, quite a long time. I want to say probably 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Okay. And she is our resident animal communicator. And that's what she usually writes about, except for this month. This month, she contacted me and she said, do you mind if I write off topic this month? And she told me why, right? She said that she wanted to write about her dad for Father's Day. And she said, I have a story that really needs to be told. And I would really like to be able to do that. And I said, of course. Tell us about your dad. What is it that you want us to know about your dad, right? And let's see, Clara saying, I did this early this year when I forgave my brother for something that happened between us, between as children. I felt so much better doing it. Yes. Oh, congratulations, Clara, really. And big hugs to you because you just changed. You changed your whole life and you did major soul growth through it, right? And it does. You do feel totally different. Totally different. Same thing. I have a brother, right? I have actually 4 brothers, 3 living. And I did the same thing with 2 of them, 2 of my brothers. And in fact, I saw one of them on Sunday. And the triggers aren't there anymore. They're just not, and we're actually relating to each other more as adults, right? Rather than one adult to a child, because he's so much older than me. And so, yeah, it's good stuff. So congratulations, Clara, and thank you for sharing that. All right. So Leslie's topic for this month was her Father's Day. And she wanted to tell us about her dad. What level comes after superhero? What level comes after superhero is the name of her article in her column, Communicating with Sacred Animals. Right. Oh my gosh. Another one. You're going to need some Kleenex. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's the story that she shares. It's a love story. It's about her mom and her dad. And that her mom had been married before. And as a young wife, her young husband died, passed away, and left her as a single mom with several children. Yeah. And then she meets this other young man who happens to be a bachelor and loves the bachelor life. You know what I mean? And they fall in love. And he becomes an instant dad. And they have more children together, right? So Leslie comes from a very large family. And she happens to be one of the younger kids, right? And what she shares with us is how much there's love between her parents to this day. And here's the tearjerker, okay, is Leslie's mom hasn't felt well for quite a while, and has had to move into a long-term facility. And her husband, Leslie's dad, still saw her before COVID, every single day Every day he goes. Sometimes she remembers him, sometimes she doesn't. But they're what she does remember is their early relationship, right? And so loving each other. And so Leslie wanted to share that with us because here's this guy who you know became an instant dad. And then fast forward to after raising this huge family together, now his wife is in a long-term facility that because her medical needs are so high that she needs to be there, right? And so, but he goes and sees her as often as he can, even if they're just standing with a window between them, right? Just so that he can tell her that he loves her. How sweet is that? How sweet is that? When I read it, guys, I got verklempt. It's like when I first read through, Paul comes in my office and I got the Kleenex out, and he goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh, you have to read Leslie's article." And so it's about her dad, and it's for Father's Day. And you can feel Leslie coming from her heart about her dad, writing about how much he loves his wife. It's just, see, even talking about it right now, I got tears. So when you guys read it, you're going to have to share um, your feelings around it and write to Leslie, because it is such a wonderful love story. It really is. Ah, yeah, here I go. Got tears. Gonna ruin the makeup. All right. So that's Leslie. We got just a couple more. And I wanted to share with you about Orchard Franklin. Orchard Franklin, one of our elders here, right? She wrote about Grandma's garden in her column, The Mystery School. This is her garden. I should say was her garden, because this is at their old house that I think they just sold it, or they're just going to sell it in Michigan. And she writes about this garden. And at first I thought, whose garden is this? Because she's talking about Grandma in the third person, right? But she's writing about herself from her perspective as a grandmother, and what this garden has done for her grandchildren, and the creativity around it, and the spiritual mysteries around it. And she shares with us about the growth, the spiritual growth of plants. It's amazing. It's an amazing article, and that is a picture of her own garden. And she explained it in such a way that I thought, oh my gosh. All right, so here she says, this grandma, Ortrun, likes to involve all her senses while in the garden. Ortrun shares her perspective of gardening and what it represents in her life and her spiritual growth. She shares with us a guided meditation for our inner garden. Okay. So she used her garden for her spiritual growth, and it really is a metaphor for her spiritual growth. But she takes us on this guided meditation to help us with our own spiritual growth, our own inner garden. And I got to pick the music for it. So every month she does a guided meditation and sends me the audio file, and I select a piece of music to go with it, and then we put it together. And so I think you guys are really going to like this guided meditation. When I went through it, yeah, it was so good. If you've never experienced one of Orchard's guided meditations, you're in for a treat. Yes. in for a treat with this one. And so using her garden as a metaphor and teaching us about spiritual growth and how plants can actually show us the different stages of spiritual growth. I know, it is so cool. Yeah, it is so cool, Maggie. It really is. And honestly, after reading a couple of very emotional, touching, heartfelt articles, Orchard's article really was that resting spot, right? Because this one is more about teaching us about our spiritual growth and how our gardens, our inner garden, we have the outer garden too, and it was just a nice lull between the emotional stuff that to sit down and to be able to read this article and get that piece of education, right? It's really good, really, really good. And so I have to thank Orchard for doing the level of gathering of information for this particular article. It's pretty deep. It's really good. Really, really good. I think you guys are going to like this one. This is one of the ones that you might want to print out, because she has a diagram in there about the 5 different stages of growth. It's really good. Really, really good. All right. Now here is the next featured article in the June issue. Nature Connections column, and Real Fairy Gardens by Minnie Kansman. Now, I asked Minnie back in January if she wouldn't mind, if she had time, to write a featured article for us about fairy gardens. She has been teaching about fairy gardens, how to make a fairy garden, for years and years and years, right? And so she did such a good job on this one. She really did. And the pictures she chose for it, outstanding. Outstanding. They really make you feel like you're in a fairy garden. Really. Yeah. Maggie, you're so funny, Maggie. She says, we will send you a tissue box. Thank you. Thank you. And so with Minnie's, gotta find Minnie's. Here it is. Minnie, you guys know that she is a forest therapy guide, right? And she's also been working with the fairy realm for decades. And so bringing these two things together is like alchemy for her. Okay. And so what she says is that she says, would you like to learn how to create a fairy garden? Minnie, she shares that fairies are part of the devas of light called nature spirits, the overall general contractors of physical matter, such as gardens. They are the worker bees of nature, the ones responsible for overseeing every single plant in your garden. Okay. And what she does is she teaches us about how our connection to the fairies can help us with our gardening, but also it goes way beyond the creation of one of those miniature fairy gardens, which are so cute. They really are. It goes way beyond that, way beyond it. The actual making of those tiny little fairy gardens, it really does. It's very, very creative. Yes. But what Minnie is encouraging us is to dive deeper into it, is to actually be co-creative with the devas, co-creative with the nature spirits. And you might say that Ortrun actually did that in her own garden, and that's why she wrote about it, right? And Minnie comes along in her article and explains how that connection with nature spirits, that you can really create a real fairy garden. not just a miniature one, but a real one. And she also shares about Findhorn and a couple of other well-known gardens. And yeah, it's good stuff. If you're into gardening and really looking for that deeper connection to nature spirits, this is it. This is the one. This is the one. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to give you guys a link, actually, two of them. Okay. And if you're interested in getting your own copy of Star Nations magazine, you can do that. So here are the short links for it, okay? And what you can do is you can click on either one of them. The MagCloud link is going to take you to where you can get a print on demand copy. You can also get the PDF and web viewer from there as well. Theissue.com is where you can get the link will take you there to get the digital copy. You can also do the PDF copy from there as well. Okay. Yeah. And so, oh my goodness, I can't tell you how much it brings me joy every month to be able to create this magazine, co-create it with not just with Spirit, because Spirit is guiding the whole process, but it's also that co-creation between all of the contributing writers, right? Our partners at issue.com, our partners at MagCloud, my partnership with Elf Elm, our layout specialists, even where we get our photos from, Pixabay, Unsplash, Dreams Time. It's and the editors. We got Sharon. What's the name of her business? The Feathering Quill. She does all of our editing for us. And I know I'm forgetting somebody. The other editors, the ones that read the finished PDF to do all those little tweaks and things like that. My husband, he's so good at spelling and sentence structure. And those people. Okay. So it's many more people than just me. I'm just the one that corrals everybody and gives them the due dates. But in the creation process, we are in our hearts when we're doing this. And so I tell everybody that we're walking the red road together, and it is so good. It is so good. And so I'm hoping that you guys feel that when you read the magazine, when you're with the magazine, and when you get your magazine, if you get a print copy, how about taking a picture of yourself with it? Do a selfie with it and send it to me. I'd like that. I'd like to be able to be a part of your journey with Star Nations magazine. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you the one last look at the copy. Uh-oh, the link doesn't work. Okay, hang on. I'll fix that. Which link? The MagCloud or the issue? I can also give you Star Nation's website link, and that will take you to our website page for the magazine. And we have both MagCloud and issue on that page. And so you can just click on either one of them and it'll take you directly to there. The one from the magazine for the website will definitely work. I don't know which one didn't work for you, Maggie. MagCloud. Okay. Huh. I think I know. Let's see. I'm going to try it. It worked for me. Hang on. Let me see. Oops. Gotta do that. I'm going to put the MagCloud one back in there. And you can try it again, okay, Maggie? Hang on. We'll get it. We'll get to you. All right, we're gonna send the MagCloud one on its own, okay? And if you really, I mean, the easiest way is just to go to our website, and you'll see the links there, and you can just click on one of the links, right? You're welcome, Maggie. All right, so enjoy your copy of Star Nations magazine. Thank you so much for being with me this afternoon for this special issue of Star Nations magazine, Communications from Home. I so enjoy really bringing it to you every month, and the spiritual seekers, right? Spiritual seekers, calling all the seekers. And I love doing that and being with you guys. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday night for Communications from Home on our usual time frame, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to continue the series of eldership, the elders, and the next one up, I think, is the unrecognized elder. We just did rookie elder last night, and so next week we'll be doing a show about the rookie elder, not rookie. I'm saying unrecognized elder. Okay. Oh, good. It worked for you. Yay, Maggie. All right. So I am going to head on over to the spiritual roundtable. Come on over. We're going to change gears. We're going to shift gears. Going to be another hour with me, but this time we're going to be talking about the card draw that I did this morning for us for the group. And it's all about understanding information about our joy and our soul growth. Okay. So I'm going to start that show in a couple of minutes, and grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, run to the bathroom, come back and join us in a few minutes for the spiritual roundtable. Thank you, everybody. Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.